So a lot of you guys were not present the last time. Actually, only two people were present the last time. It was just.
Sorry, can you be a bit audible?
Is this clearer?
Is audible now, maybe from your end.
Okay. Well, the last class it was only Johnny and CJ that showed up, but okay. I didn't really announce it very well. Anyhow, I left a bit of an assignment. The first task, the first project, the first mini project, in Asabene 30 days of JavaScript. That's solar system project. But anyhow, I'm sure nobody has looked at it. So I'll still leave it again for today. Today is Saturday. So by next week, Saturday, I will expect it. It's really not a difficult something. If you have gone through this one, if you follow this project we've been doing currently, you will not find that very challenging at all. It's just one page something. And they've already dropped the HTML. I think you just have to style it. Maybe you might need to make some small changes to the HTML, but that's up to you, Sha. And then add JavaScript. But anyhow, moving on. This is what we've been able to accomplish so far. Let me take this away. Right, so there's a little loading screen. You can change your theme, so light and dark. You can filter by continents. Okay. And you can return to all. Okay, I don't think we've worked on the search yet. Right, let me see. Okay, the search has not been working. Okay, however, I think we've worked on single country. So if you click on any country, it should load up that country's details. And in here, everything shows up. You can click on either of these border countries and to take you to that country. Back also works as well. So all that is left is this search. So originally when I did mine, search was a different page because I wanted to display a little bit of something here. And if that thing is there, then it's a search page kind of. But I wanted to try, having it here because actually the search page looks exactly like this. There's still the filter by continents. There's still these things being loaded in. Everything looks pretty much the same. The only difference is that you see a little bit of write-up. I think number of results for so and so search, that kind of thing. Okay. So let's try it on. The search. Okay, I think I should make this bigger. All right, so this is our form, our search form. It's just a button and an input. Okay, so if we type something in the input and we click on the button, that's it, we have submitted. Okay. So this method posts, it's really not so necessary in here. It's kind of nicer if you're doing, what's that thing called? Well, it was really rampant, with PHP. But here with JavaScript, it's not really so necessary. You can just include whatever it is in your function, in the submit function. Since you can get this button in your JavaScript. Yeah. Either way, type submit is kind of essential for a button in a form. But here's the weird thing. If you have a button in a form and you don't specify the type, then the type is automatically submit. So even if I didn't put this type, let's try that. You see, one way you can know that it's a submit button is that if I click it, it will try to send data. Like what happened previously, where the page reloaded and said showed nothing, right? Because there was nothing connected to it. So if that still happens, then I think we can say that here is correct. Yeah. So that's how you tell that something is a submit button. By default, that's what submit buttons do. To try to send whatever is in the form. All right. In any case, let's move forward. So in here now, I think we're able to get these as variables in our JavaScript, right? There is search form. Okay, there's just search form, but the input is not here. Yeah, the input itself, the input field is not here. So let's add that in. Because we need to get the value inside the input field at the time the form is submitted. So this is search input. Can anyone help us with that? Assigning that input field to a variable.
Are we even the ID of the class? So,
I think let's go with ID.
So what should we call it?
Probably input search.
Probably what?
Input search.
Search input.
Or search input search.
Okay, I think I prefer search input.
Search input.
Search input.
Document dot not element by ID. It's not by ID. Parentheses, the name of ID.
Yeah, the ID is search input. Okay, so that's fine. And now we'll write a submit function and attach it on an event listener to this form on submit. Okay, so two ways you can attach the event listener. You can put it on the button on click. You can put it on the form on submit. Either way, you still get what you want. So the form, these are what toggle filter options. I think the thing was before the filter options. Let me put it here. So search form dot add event listener. Okay, what do I write next?
On submit.
Submit.
On submit.
Please submit.
Okay.
Okay, so would you rather have the function written here or somewhere else, and we just
let's just take the function.
Let's just put it here.
Function reference.
Okay, you want to pass reference. So what do you want to name the function?
What do you want to name the function? What do you want to give the function?
It's a submit. It's a search. Submit. Search. The function is supposed to search.
Search handler. Or search country handler.
Search handler. Okay, so let's describe search handler. Or maybe let me take it a bit down to where all these are.
I believe them.
Okay. So when you are working with forms, the first thing, what needs to be muted? There is what is called events. I think in some of our previous event listeners, we've looked at that, right? Events. Okay.
I don't forget the time, but at least I watched one of the latest ones. Which is one of them? Let me see it myself.
Right. In functions that are in event listeners, you have access to this event. Okay. So maybe we've not talked of this, but there is, or let me just use E. E is actually what I'm used to, events. Even though they mean the same thing, you could call it whatever you want, sure, but people use either E or events. I'm personally used to E. So E dots prevents.
I have something to say. So it means that whatever.
This is Nick, right? Just remember,
symbol,
hey, when you are done, please remember to mute. The last time you didn't mute.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
I want to ask something. But okay, I noticed that the same symbol you pass in is what you pass in when you are calling the function.
It's like E.
Okay, if you are using that on click, that other method, now that on click or on submit. Yes. If you don't pass it, it should turn an error. I don't know how true that is.
I don't know. I'm not getting your question.
Like if you are using that on submit, they are passing it as they are calling it inside the element. Assuming you are calling inside the elements now. The same thing you pass in here, the same event symbol. If you use E here, you have to use E while calling the function there. If not, I don't know how true that is.
That's definitely true. It's parameter. You're passing in a parameter. You can't use a random variable that the function does not know.
But I thought if you are calling it, it's an argument, not a parameter.
The E in here is a parameter. Yes. When you pass it, if you are calling the function, it's an argument.
What I'm saying, it has to be the same thing, else it's true an error.
Yeah, it has to be, because it's like I pass in R here. Maybe I also use arrow. As I wrote the function, I used arrow everywhere. And over here, I now come and do something like this. This place is not even very nice. Anyhow, it's almost like that.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? We're going to try it after this. We're going to remove this event listener. After we try this and see that this works, right? Let me just do something now. E, right? So let's have a console log. Okay, so yeah, and before we go into that, E.prevent defaults. It stops the default action of setting things in the HTML. For example, forms. When you submit form, it will try to send the data and reload the page. That's the default action of submitting forms. So e.prevent default stops that from happening. So when you click this button, nothing happens by default, and only the code you've written here will just continue to run. So it's very essential you do that when you're handling forms with JavaScript. Okay. So now when we click, hello. Has it been long? I got cut off. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, can you guys hear me? Okay. Right, so we're going to try that first of all, and then when it does work out, we'll come over to the form. Wait, this is a different form. Okay, I'm not sharing my screen. All right, screen is showing, right? Okay, I remember now. Yeah. So this is our form, and we have an event listener from the JavaScript on this form. So when we are done trying it out and see that we get somebody listening to it. And we get the console log once, we'll come over here and put an onClick attribute. Okay. So if we search for Nigeria, for example, yeah. Sorry, I clicked enter. You know, clicking enter or clicking the button itself, both of them submit the form. I wanted to actually come and click this, but I mistakenly clicked enter. Anyway, the form submitted, right? And this is what we see. Search does not reload anymore. Search does not reload the page anymore, which is what we set. You can see nothing happens to the page. Okay, so I'll temporarily comment out that event listener. And add it in the HTML. Right, so on submit, we have search handler. First of all, let's have nothing in there and see what happens. So once again, maybe I'll search for ZZZ. Right. Anyhow, there was an error. I don't know if you guys caught it. It said on cut. So it's probably complaining that it doesn't know what E is, because in the function expects an argument E that it would apply the prevent the fault method, or it couldn't find E. And because we just called it like that, there was no E.prevent the fault, so the form would try to send data and reload the page. So that's why the page reloaded and we didn't see the error very much. But let me try it again. Just, I don't know, keep your eyes down here. Yeah, I hope you guys caught that. Just for a second, there was a flash of it down here on port. So now, we put E as we are supposed to, because that's what we used when we created the function. Let me see. Search handler. Sorry. We're still getting. That's interesting. When I tried to pass in E, I got that same on port issue. But when I wrote events, I want this thing to go away. Yeah, when I wrote events in full, I'm getting this. It could be I think it's because of this event. Give you that. Because over here, what I wrote in the function was E. And what was it Nick that raised that question also? That if you don't write the exact same thing. Is who?
Yes. Yeah, it was me.
If you don't write the exact same stuff as you wrote, it will not work.
Yes.
But I wrote E the first time and it didn't work. It actually only works when I wrote event. It actually only works when I wrote events in full. Let me try it again. So you can see search handler, it's E. Yeah, same thing. It threw an error and moved on. So I think if you are trying to pass events from an HTML event listener, you should write events in full. Anyway, that's that.
Yeah,
so we're not using HTML event listener anyway. So I'll take this away. I'm bringing this guy back. Okay, we have this. We're able to see this, right? Search doesn't reload the page anymore. But now, what we actually need here is what was written in the input. So how do you think we can get what was written in the input at this point?
Yeah, dot value. What the variable declared dot value should be.
Okay, so let me say let's input val equal to what dot value?
What's the value again?
I think we called it search inputs. Yeah, we called it search inputs.
Dot value.
Dot value. All right, just like this. Okay. So let me bring this down, and instead of it saying this pointless thing, it's going to now say input val. All right, so let's try that. Okay, so we got that. We get island over here, which is fine. So now we have access to what's that thing called? Sorry, just a moment. What was I saying? Yeah, we've been able to get the value of the input. How do we apply that in here? Or what do we do, as we have that? There's this text, there's this p tag. Let me show you that p tag. That is supposed to show when you search something. Yeah, this p tag, search results heading. Okay, it's supposed to show search results for whatever you searched in here, and then how many results were gotten in here. So it will look something like search results for island, maybe in brackets 20, that kind of thing. So you see it's just on top of countries. So currently search results heading has the class hide, so it doesn't show up. But when we search for something, we want to make it show up, and we want to fill in some details here. I want to put something in here, I want to put something in there. So I think we have those three things in the JavaScript. Let's see. Search results heading, search term, and results number. Yeah, search results heading, search term, and results number. So three of them are here. So when we search for something, we want to make changes to those three things. One, to remove hide from it. For the other two, we need to do some extra things. But first of all, let's make search results heading. Okay. So maybe perhaps we do something like a little if statement, right? If, when that search button is clicked, there is actually something like input val is not an empty string. Okay. So if I want to do a conditional like that, if input val is none, what would I write? If there was something in the input when somebody clicked submit. Hello, people.
We're just passing input value.
Yes, take input value.
Or true value or false value.
All right. Okay. So if input val, I want to unhide search results heading. I want to remove the class hide from search results heading.
Search heading. Is it search heading?
Search results heading.
Search results heading dot class list dot new hide. Yes.
The class list dot remove hide. Okay. So let's just move on. Assume that works. Now we want to actually do the search, right? We want to take this search term and look around. Okay. I see. I remember. We said we're going to use the API. We're not going to write, like do the search ourselves. We'll make a fetch to the API and blah, blah, blah. So, we're something like this. Okay, let me just take this and we'll adjust it. So perhaps we should make this async. Since there was some await. There was some await in there. Sorry. Async. So the loading screen is coming back because there's going to be some fetching. That's not confusing, right? So also going by that, I think this guy should also not happen here, but should happen somewhere else after the result has been gotten. So REST countries 3.1, or let me just be sure what that search endpoint is. Okay, search by country name. Search by full name. Wow, I just want a random regular search. Okay, maybe we can try this, right? Because all these other ones are very specific. They are search by translated name, search by sub-region, search by, but this one you can add all the fields you want. So I think we'll go with this. Search fields and name. Service. I don't get the service. Sorry, let me try this out somewhere. Palestine. Wait. Oh, I see. This is not what I'm expecting at all. This is what it's doing. Because fields are name, capital, currencies, it's only returning name, currencies, and capital. I didn't even know this endpoint could do this.
It's filtering by something.
Yeah, it's filtering all this thing. Like instead of filter, I'll call this reduce or map, but it's not doing what I expected. I thought this was okay. Filter the output of your request to only include only the specified fields. I see. That's not what I want. I want search that like searches everything. Or was it the previous one that this thing was? Ah,
I thought you have the code you got, but I thought you had the endpoints there.
let me see what I used originally. I feel like originally I searched myself, like I wrote custom search codes.
Don't want us to do SP. That's why revising.
Okay. Search them. What did I do in search them? Name. Okay, I only searched by name. Ah, I see. I only searched by name. That's fine. So I guess we can roll with that again. But that's not nice. Or should we just write our own search?
I won't start things on what.
Yeah. Okay, don't worry. Let's roll with this first. And if we feel like there's time and want to modify and write search by ourselves, then we'll go with that. Okay. Okay, so we're supposed to put in name dynamically. How do we go about that? Do you understand the question? This bracket here means that this should change. This can be anything. It can be land. It can be tree. So how do we go about that?
Well, the input value, isn't it?
We what?
The input value. Input value, man. Yeah.
If you just write input value, you can, from the color self, you can tell that this thing is just.
Like you don't use backtick now. Use backtick.
Okay.
Backtick. Use the dollar sign. Use the dollar sign there.
All right. Yeah, just like this. So we get response .json it's and that's countries data. So countries data now, I think we can map through it again. Yeah, because what's it called? Our rendering function doesn't use objects with the full stuff. It uses nicely formatted objects like this. Yeah, so we still have to do this. Then you need to sort. Perhaps that's not bad. So we sort, and all countries dot results. Originally, when the page loads the function, yeah, we assign all countries, or we assign the results to all countries. But I'd rather not do that right now. Okay. And all the same. There was something we did in filtered countries. What was that we did? Okay. We just rendered the countries from there. We did not assign it to anything. Right? You can see this. After we got something, we got filtered countries. We did not assign it to any variable. We just used it to render countries. And so let's do that here again, so that all countries will not really change. Once the page loads, you get all countries and it remains like that. You don't change that. But results will just be used to render countries. So let's see how that goes.
Excuse me, this render countries, the function created, Abi?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is done.
Okay.
So, what do we search for? Search for island before. Let's try that again. Okay, so we get this. Islands, Bermuda, I guess they have island in their name somewhere, another different name. Okay, so yeah, this does work. We got a few things. So let's work on this. Let's work on putting this here and putting the number of items in. That shouldn't be too difficult.
Can we go over the last code? Like after you start that part you copy, can we just go over it for a moment? Yes.
Okay. This is an async function, so we can await what's it called? We can await promises. Okay, see, fetch returns a promise, and promises are troublesome, a little bit annoying to work with because they are not synchronous. This will not give you an answer immediately. It will take a while before it will give you an answer. Tell you, this is what you asked for, or this is the error I encountered while looking for this. Yeah. So it's either you remove this async and then make this thing use .then to work with the promises, or you have it as async and you await any promises in there. So fetch blah blah blah, you await it, and whatever response you get is assigned to this variable. But when the stuff you get back from APIs, they're usually not consumable directly, right? So you need to apply this method .json, because most of the times API return JSON response. But it's really, in a kind of weird way, readable string. You can't just JSON.parse it and it won't just work like that. So you need to use this .json method, and this returns a promise. So you await again and get countries data. You see there are two console logs. There's console log first one and second one, and you can see them here, first one, second one. So this is data. The full thing that we got from the API. Right, see all the properties are here, very long, plenty of things. Okay? But we now did, because that thing has too many properties, we don't need all those properties. These are just what we need: name, flag, codes, and it's just this few. Okay? So we map over countries data, and for each item we return another object that just contains these few things. Okay, and then after getting that, we sort it because we like to see things in alphabetical order. So sorted, and then that's that's result.
Local compare use.
That was local compare. Local compare is a string method. It returns. It's used to compare one string to another. Basically, I think it returns 1. How does it do this? Let me console log this separately somewhere else. It returns either 1, 0, or -1, which is what sort uses. Sort uses something like this number is positive, the number is negative, or the number is 0 to decide how it runs these things. So yeah, I like to have
that sort method used.
Yeah, what happens is
that sort method you just use only a dot. I know a dot is like accessing the name of the country, but usually why you have that.
I'm not getting you very well.
But sort method use that sort method use.
Yeah.
Usually A here. We will have A and B.
In the parameters, there was A and B.
Yes.
But that's not what you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay, just a moment. Let me just have a string, maybe hello, and this will be another string, maybe world. Okay, so if we run Coca, yeah, we get a -1, I think, because this comes before this. Yeah, so if I wrote something like bold, we get 1 because this comes after this, like alphabetical order, something like that. But if we wrote another hello in here, yeah, we get 0 because they are the same thing. So look compare just returns -1, 0, or 1 with depending on alphabetical order. And sort uses something like that. So you are asking for this. You can see results. Every item has a name property. So sort just goes through the items, like maybe there are 5 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To take 1 and 2, compare them. Take 2 and 3, compare them. 3 and 4. It always compares 2 things at a time. It just iterates over until it gets something. Right? I don't want to go too much into sorts, but that's why there are 2 parameters.
Yeah, when you explain, sorry,
Yeah, carry on.
when you explain that other part, I understood it. Like that one that you say you don't want, don't deserve, understood.
Okay.
Understood it.
All right. So yeah, that was just the sort. I just wanted it in alphabetical order. So if I wanted it to start from small to big, like sorry, A to Z. If I wanted Z to A, to be D dot name local compare A dot name. Maybe we can try that. You've already seen how it is, right? It's in alphabetical order, like from small to big. So let me try this bit A. I'll search for island again. Yeah, we get from Z to E. Yeah, anyhow, the reason why we came back was for this. So let's focus on that.
But then again, sort has like natural way of arranging things in alphabetical order. So I go through the local container.
Let's have a bunch of uh, yeah. So let's have some strings. Hello. What else? Hi. Any random words that come to your mind? I just need like 2 more words. Nobody can think of a word.
Brain,
Brain. I see. You get
umbrella,
brain.
umbrella. Yeah.
So R2 dot sorts. You will get something, and it's sorted in alphabetical order. However, how do I do this now? Okay. Now look at this. Is this sorted?
No, it's not sorted because it's inside an object. And you have to access the name property.
Exactly. So you were asking me why I didn't just use sort like that, and I had to go and start using passing a function inside. This is why, because I don't have just strings. I have them inside. I have an object. I have objects, and I want to sort them by a property inside the object. So I need to be specific. I need to pass a function. If it were numbers, then I could say maybe maybe age minus b dot age numbers, because you get negative, positive, or zero if you subtract numbers. But it's strings. So this is how you can compare strings. Local compare, because that gives you a negative number or a positive number or zero. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you notice when we mapped over countries data to get results, we had to assign it to results. But for sorts, there was no such thing. Any ideas why?
It doesn't modify Yeah, it modifies it, but it doesn't create a new array.
Which one is it? There are two things in question. Which one is the it?
Okay, sort does not create a new array from results, just modifies the results array. Anything is returned is stored into it just modifies the array.
So map does not change the original array, it just creates a new one elsewhere. But sort, changes the original array. So there's no need to assign it to anything. All right, so we take that result like that and use it to render countries. So before we unhide this thing, we need to do some things, right? What are those two things? Search term. We need to give search term a value. We need to give results number a value. Here we. So search term. Yes. This is what search term is supposed to be. Search term is supposed to be the thing that was searched for. So something like search results for island. And then for results number, we have a number, the number of items found. Okay, so how would we do it? What do we do to that search term variable that would give it the value of whatever we searched for?
Search term is what we type the input now, not.
Yeah, that's what we want to give it. That's the value we want to give it.
But inner HTML equal to the input value.
So that's right. Both of you are correct. Inner text, text content, inner HTML. In this situation, three of them are okay. So we're using inner HTML too much. Let's use something fresh. So this is equal to what?
Input val.
Input val. All right. So one more thing, results number.
So what does that result number do?
And maybe we'll use text content this time around. So results number is supposed to be the number of results gotten. So how do you tell the number of results? Yeah, the number of countries you got back.
So if the country is an array, then we do it with the length of what we get back.
Yeah, so that is what now.
All right.
Result of length.
Result dot length. All right. So once again, island. Weird things are happening. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Can you guys tell why this is happening? You see this error, right? Uncaught in promise type error cannot set properties of null. Setting inner text at blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Why is it happening? Okay, you
I
can
guess
see.
probably it's not defined. The variable you are
it
calling
is defined. It is defined.
Then maybe you are not calling it from the DOM correctly.
Let me search for something. Hopefully this will give us our answer.
Okay, so that span is actually hidden.
The span is not hidden, but it is inside an element that is hidden. And as far as I know, display none also hides things from the DOM. Are we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Am I correct?
You hide it completely.
Yes.
You not
Like
see
you
that.
can't mess
have
around
access
with
to
it.
Yeah.
So let me try.
Visibility. Hidden.
No. That's still fine. Instead, what we'll just do, we'll bring these two below the unhide, like this. So after unhiding the parent, then you set this, and let me see if it works. Okay, so that means there was something else that was wrong. Search term results number, and those are, that was the issue. So I guess the first person that said that they were not assigned correctly, that was actually correct. So we used get element by ID. Meanwhile, they were class names.
Then after Jimmy, take it back. Let's see that one also work. After you finish testing this one.
Okay, it's back up. Yeah, I think it's going to work. Because if you think about it, if you hide something, how do you still see it to unhide it? Yeah. So I was wrong earlier. Island. I get what we want. Yeah? Thought somebody was saying something.
I don't think JavaScript will be able to access it if it's hidden.
But I mean, think about it. Currently, this p tag was hidden, but we're still able to find it and tell it to set display to something, or rather remove a class list that is inside. So JavaScript can still see it if it's hidden.
I don't think it's hidden from the DOM. I don't think it's hidden from the DOM completely.
It's not hidden from the DOM.
Okay.
So we have this.
Okay, so it's not as if it's completely hidden from the DOM.
Yeah, it's not completely hidden from the DOM. So this was actually the reason why I did not want to put this in the same page, because now you've searched for something. Okay, I guess if you use filter by continent and go to all, and then you get back your all. So, but this one still remains. So perhaps we should do something to all of these filters. Or do we want it like that? It's not nice now. It's better, if you search for something and you filter within your search results. Yeah.
you're saying.
You didn't get what I was saying.
Yeah.
When I first did this project, I separated the search page from the index page because I felt, how do I put it? When you search, you should go to somewhere and just see your search. And it does make sense because now even when you filter, currently if we filter, we're getting all the countries, like all the European countries, not all the European countries that have island in their name.
Okay.
So it does make sense to move it to its own separate page, so that in that page you will always see search results. Okay. And if you don't want to see search results, you come back to where in the world, like normal. So are you guys in favor of moving search to a different page?
Yeah, let's try new things. Yes, that's okay.
Okay. So there's already search.html and it has things. Great. So we have search.js. We're also going to throw in, I think it's theme.js. Yeah, it's theme.js. So this is for the theme switching in the header.
Okay.
And now that I think about it, there is also a filter in both pages. So I'm going to create a filter.js so that we'll just remove that filter function and put it, in that place. And we can apply it in both. This, instead of having the same filter code both in the index and the search JavaScript files. Okay. All right, so index.js, filter countries. There's actually a lot to collect. Yeah, toggle filter options, anything else. This two will go. Maybe this render country itself, if they want to. Well, anyhow, let me just remove filter. Blah, 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 blah.
So I hope he's not using any other function within the document.
The filter.
Yeah.
I think these two. Okay. And also these drop down items. These two are going as well. And where are our variables? Drop down, between, drop down box. Yeah, these four. Going away. So filter.js. So in index.html, I would also add filter.js. Yeah, so let's see. There's this for clicking. What happens when you click the drop down between? Toggle filter options. Where is that? That's this. There's this for If the options are open and you click anywhere in the body, this should close the options. There's this for, you click any option among the drop-down items. It should filter countries. Okay. So now, we have one problem with this. You see, this is saying all countries.filter. But where is all countries? All countries does not exist in this file. So what do you suppose we do in this situation? Previously, when we had these filter countries in index.js, we had access to all countries. But now, we've separated the function into a separate file, or rather abstracted the function into a separate file. And we no longer have access to all countries. What do you suppose we do?
Where did we define all countries? In the index.
We do what?
I said, where did we define all countries? In the index.js.
Yeah, all countries is this. This is let all countries. And in our fetch function, we now put something in there. See, in the fetch, at the end of the fetch, we put this so that we can have access to it in our filter and blah blah blah. Now this is over here, and this is here. Now, if we do call filter countries, to throw an error. That doesn't know what's called from anyone. It's not only Nikhil, all of you that are here, anybody can answer this. How do we get all countries into this function?
All countries.
Well, you guys all understand the issue at hand, right?
Yes, I understand the issue at hand. This is not defined in this file.
Yeah. So this function does not know what all countries is.
Yes, but
okay, so we have two options. The first option is import and export. Export. What's that thing called? All countries from the other place and use it here. However, the problem is that it will make this function to not be reusable. This function would only always be filtering all countries, which is not what we want. The reason why we abstracted this filter functions and variables into a separate file is that we want to reuse it in the search page. And as you can imagine, the search page will not have all countries. It will have its own set of countries. And we want to use the filter function because it's the same thing. All that changes is that in the main page, we are filtering through all 250 countries. However, in search page, we are filtering through however many countries we find in our search. So given that and knowing that we're working with functions, what do you think we should do? It means import export is not the right answer. It's the second option. What do you think that second option is?
Create a separate file where you can get all countries and then use it to know the file.
Remember, we're working with functions. The reason why functions are reusable is that you can call a function with this stuff and call a function with that stuff. Say it loud if you want to say it.
What's that simple?
Yeah, this is not this thing React.
But it's to the functions
As what?
as an parameter.
Exactly, as a parameter. So if you pass in your all countries in this function as a parameter, then anywhere you are using it, you just have to remember that you are not only passing E, you would also pass all countries. So this, at least whatever this function is called,
So does that mean that an event listener function, the first parameter must be the event, then other parameters can be anything?
no, it's not necessary.
I don't get.
No, I'm saying it's not necessary. You can pass all countries then event. It doesn't.
But which one would
it
you
must not-
recognize that as event listener? What you use as event or event default or what?
I think going this way now means that, let me see. Item dot add event listener. Just a moment. Okay, I think going this way now, it would kind of make sense for us to use what's that thing called? No, I'm just trying to reason this thing. I think we're still going to have some trouble if we run this. But let me see how it goes right now. Let me see exactly the error that we see. But I think we're still going to have some trouble if we run this. Properties of undefined reading filter at filter countries. Okay. $24, right? 24, exactly. So it's seeing all countries as undefined. Or maybe there's another option. Let me try something else.
What you're trying to do now?
What I'm trying to do is a way to pass countries smoothly, as in, so that this thing can stay in its own file and it will work properly both in this page and the other page. Okay. But the problem now is that how do I get all countries here? Yeah, this stuff was cool and all, but it doesn't really get the job done. because there's no one size fits all. The only thing that is really transmitted, no matter what, from everywhere is this event. So if I can't find a way to make what I'm looking for part of the event, then I still have to pass in the second parameter. And the problem is, where does that parameter come from? Like here, I'm saying all countries. There's something like all countries going into this function, and we're using it here. But the problem is, this is where this function is being called. Where is the all countries that I'm passing into it? Nobody knows. It's nowhere. It's undefined. This is why we got that issue that on this line, I'm trying to filter undefined. So I have another weird idea now. It's a very weird idea. And to get that idea running, I need these guys. Drop-down items. Right? Yes, drop-down items. I need them in here, in index.js. But this is really troublesome now. It's probably, how likely is it to work? So this is my idea. Where is fetch countries, right? So at the moment you fetch countries, you pass this country into all, or maybe the parent of this. What's their parent? Don't worry. Hopefully this will not be too much trouble. Their parents is this, and their parents is drop-down box. Okay, maybe it's drop-down box I should have used. Okay, so this is my idea. You have access to events, no matter what, right? When you have an event person. So we click on this, we get the data option. Since you have access to this element, it means you can use DOM manipulation and get the parent of this element or the grandparent of this element. So that means if there was some data stored in the grandparent of that element, you can get it every time you click this. Does that make sense? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you now.
Hello? You can hear me now? Okay, what I was saying is that this is my idea. Whenever you have an event listener function, you always have access to events. And with events, you can get event target or event point target, whichever one, right? And with that, you have, with DOM manipulation, you can get the parent of that element. You can get the parent of that element. You can get the children of that element. So that means, you see, all these LIs, these are the drop-down items, right? They all have the same parents. They all have the same grandparents. So if I were to take either these parents or grandparents and store some data in them, in that parent or grandparent, then every time this function runs, I can go to the parent of whatever called that function and retrieve that data I stored in there.
Okay.
Right. So I would have used the parent, but let me still use the parent.
But how are you going to store the data?
Yeah.
You're using events.
Okay. I will use a data attribute. So maybe instead of drop-down items like I have, I'll just say drop-down items parent. Is equal to this dot okay. So that means I'm going to give this guy drop-down items parent as a class.
So you say you wanted to use the grandparents.
I changed my mind because grandparent means will get parent and then get the parent of the parent. So let's just go with parent. Since they all have the same parent anyway, we can just use that. Okay, so in here we have drop down items parent. And so that means what is that? Fetch countries. We can say drop down items parents data sets dot countries is equal to. Now, I want to store these results in here, but results is an array, and data attributes, or in fact, all these attributes in general, HTML attributes, just like your local storage. You can't store, what's that thing called? You can't store non-primitive
objects. You have to store them as string.
Exactly. So no objects, no arrays, you just store strings. So how do we store a string? How do we make these countries a string?
You have to stringify JSON.stringify results all countries.
Okay, so JSON.stringify results. It's all the same, shall result all countries. Yeah. So let's test it out. And each time we click, where's that filter.js? Yeah, whenever we click this, let's remove this all countries. But rather say that all countries is equal to I was wondering why that red line was there. Yeah, const all countries is equal to e.current target, because that is our li. Dot I think it's called parent element. Parent element dot data set dot countries. But that is a string. So
pass it.
We pass this JSON dot parse. Yeah, to get back our array. So in any case, let me just log.
So you're going to go over it again if you're done.
I'm going to what?
You're going to go over this part now, just that data set part. You're done.
The voice is breaking.
So if you are done, we are going to go over what you are trying to do now. If you are done with whatever.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Anyhow, go look. I heard if we are done, we're going to go over what I'm doing. Right. We get something. So filter.js 31. Filter.js 22. Filter.js 22, all countries. Okay. Right. So what would you like to go over? All right. So let's start from the beginning. We abstracted filter countries and all its stuff into a separate file because I felt, in this page, we have a filter in that page. And it's the same thing that is happening everywhere, right? So instead of writing the same codes in two different pages, let's write it in just one page. And so we have this. So the problem arose that in filter countries, we're filtering over the countries in that file. That's maybe it's index page you're searching through, or rather filtering through all 250 countries. In the other page, you're filtering through however many countries you find from your search, right? But now, as we've abstracted these filtered functions into its own file, it no longer has access to all countries like it did when it was in index.js. So the problem is, how do we pass it dynamically into filter countries? How do we get filter countries to know that, yeah, all countries is this or all countries is that? And some options were flashing through my head, but it was just troublesome. It just meant that every time one of them was imports, imports from index.js, imports from search.js, so that you have two different all countries arrays, and maybe you can do a kind of search in here, a kind of if statement. You know, if the page is this, use this one. If the page starts, use this one. But that just means that each time you add, if we had other pages in this project now, each time you have a new page that has filter, you will have to go and add to your if. So it's not very dynamic. Okay. So if you think about it, because this is an event listener function, this filter countries, you always have access to events, which means that from whatever page you are in that you are calling this thing, event is being passed, and the event is what's it called, unique to what's happening on that page, right? So that means that that's a loophole, that's a key. So if you can find a way to use that event to pass your data, then all is well. We're already doing that over here, right? Data, the option in question that we're using to filter, we're not passing it into this function. We're getting it from the event. So we stored certain things, we stored options in each of those elements, each of those LIs. And every time we call the function, we retrieve that option that we stored in that particular LI and use it for our filter. So in that same way, why not we find a way to store the array itself, the countries array itself, maybe inside that option, inside that LI. Well, I removed the idea of storing it inside the LI because there are plenty of LIs. If we decide to store it in the LI, it means we'll store it in all the LIs. Like, again, duplicating data. But then all the LIs share the same parent. So if you put data inside the parent, no matter which LI you call, once you find the parent, you can get the data from the parent. So far, is this okay?
Yes, it is.
It is. So storing the data in the parent was just done in the fetch function, where we fetched all countries. After we're done getting all countries, just before we render it, and at the same time we're assigning it to all countries, I just passed it into the parent. Drop down items parent, you saw it is the UL, the parent of the LIs. Okay. So dataset.countries, this is like data options. So now it's like data countries, that's what it's mean. If we were to look at the HTML of this page, yeah, this UL, you can see it, data countries. So because we set the data set.countries, it will become data countries. And see, this is a very, very long array of things, stringified, right? So that's just what I did. So whenever you click on any of these things, you would get that data from the parents, pass it, and it becomes a normal array, filter it, and then render countries with it. Now, if you are wondering, if you are wondering why, what's it called? We're running render countries in here, right? But render countries does not exist in this file, because at the end of it's just that at the end of the day, all those your JS files, it will be like they will be scraped out and like compiled into one kind of thing. You understand? So if you have a function in this file and it exists in the other file, no wahala. it will still run. Just like as you can see, there's no render countries in this filter file, right? But it exists in index.js. And so because of that, just
So
because these two,
how does he have access? I didn't get. I don't get that.
three of them are in the same file. They are working in the same file.
Okay.
And so if it tries to call it, it will check the other places. And it's when it doesn't see it that wahala will come in. But it may not really happen like that for variables because we're using const and let. Maybe if we used var for all countries, it might have worked, that you can access it in the other place. But yeah. Anyhow, that problem has been solved, right? So we can move on.
So storing the dataset.countries. So does it mean that this is what is storing inside the event object?
It's not really the event object. It's storing it in the parent of that UL. It's storing it in that UL.
Yeah.
You saw the HTML now.
Yes. Yes, it's storing it there. Storing it from there I can access it.
The reason why we can access it is that you can access current targets from your events. Events always holds current targets. The thing that's called that function, it has access to it, and it gives you the node itself. Like, how do I put it? You can use normal DOM functions, normal DOM methods on it. And part of the normal DOM method, things like children, you can get its children, you can get its styling, you can get classes. You can also get its parents. And again, that's also another node. With that parent, you can also get some items and details about it, its styling, classes, everything you can normally do on a node, you can do like that. So you get the elements, the current targets, you find its parents, then you find the data sets, data countries inside that parent. That's it. Now search.html. Yeah.
Can I see that code where you start current target? Let me just see that code.
I think I will just copy these things because I am seeing some small changes I made in here. So I will just take all of this and throw it over there. Yeah, like this. Yeah, you wanted to see the what?
The way you access it using the event.current target.
Okay, so event.current target gives us the li we clicked. Then parent element gives you the parent of whatever element, the parent of that li. Data sets, the data set of that element. And then inside the data set, countries. So it's countries because, we stored it as data countries. So data anything. If you look inside the data set of that element and look for anything in there, you'll find it. So data attributes were just included so that people can put, their own unique data into elements. And it has been very useful. So that's one way you can use it. Okay, so over here, a lot of things. Let me just take all these things actually. Into search.js. So there's going to be a few changes. For example, in index.js now, we no longer need search results, search them, blah, blah, blah. We don't need them anymore because those have no business here. And as well as that thing, there's supposed to be some red lines.
Oh, okay. But the reason why you are separating all these files to different other JS files, just like for like the right thing to like that's one of the reasons it's separated filter the have to filter the JS file.
It's for what?
So the main reason why you separated that function for filter.js is just to write the clean code now. Is that the reason?
Yeah. For not repeating myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of having the same thing in two places, if you can find a way to have it in one place instead and use it different places. Yeah, that's the beauty of JavaScript.
Is that the right word?
I think this one can be called abstraction. Because I'm not really using it as a module. I'm just separating it. They are similar, but kind of. Anyway, we have this search.js. Okay, so let's look for slightly different things. For now, you see here, window.onload. We are running fetch countries. Okay. Now, our fetch countries is going to be different. Our fetch countries is now going to be this thing. Sorry, let me take it like this. Yeah, it's no longer just going to be all. Yeah, this is what it's going to be, input val. However, we don't really want it to just be input val. Input val, we don't know what that is. Oh, no wonder. I've been using TS for a while now. I've been wondering, when I deleted those files in this index.js, those three things here were not throwing an error. Like, I deleted three of them up there. Like, what do they call it? Where they were assigned. Search them, results number. Yeah, I deleted them. And over here, everything was still looking clean. No shouting at me. And I was like, what's up? Why is it not shouting? So now I did it again here, and I'm just remembering. TS now for don't scream at me that what the hell is input val? I don't know what this is. Tell me what it is. Yeah, so we're going to call this search country. Do we call this search country? Search them. Let me call it search them.
Why are we changing the name?
Yeah, because in this search page, what we want to fetch is not all countries. What we want to fetch is the country to be searched. Okay.
So where do you define such thing?
We're going to define it here. So const search term is equal to empty string. It's going to start out. Oh, we have search term. Is that what I called it? Search results.
That's what you call it. You got the input from that. I think it's the input thing. The input is called search term. You got the input field from search term.
Input field is called search term.
No. What is the span? That first span.
Right.
The value, input value.
Okay, so do I do something different?
Oh yes.
No, I'll just use something else. I'll just use a different thing. Country. Yeah, let's just call it country. Country will be like this: an empty string at first. Means in here we're not going to use country. It can't be const. It has to be let because its value is going to change. Okay, so let country be like this. Now we have this window.onload, and it's on loads that we're calling fetch countries. So we're going to do a little bit of something. Let me do this first and not have anything happen. All right. So in index.js, when we search, we no longer want all of these weird things to happen. Yeah, all of this, we don't want that to happen anymore. Instead, what we want to do, we want to navigate to the search page. Okay, so every time you click the search handler, you click the search form, you submit, and there's an input. It's going to navigate you to the search page. But just like we did in single country.html, right? We were able to pass a bit of data so that when the page loads, the page knows which country you are looking for, and it will find that data and give it to you. So can you remember how we did that time? Right. All of you skipped. Now don't they come class? Okay. So at that time, we used this search terms query in the address. So you navigate to this address with a question mark, and you pass some data in. So we're going to do that. Now, navigating programmatically in JavaScript is done like this. Window.href. If you change the href of the window, you go to that place. So we're going to go to search.html, and then country is equal to input bar. Like this. Okay. So over in search.js, all right, I hope I didn't change anything. Yeah, we have search.js theme and filter, fine. In search.js, I have stopped fetch countries from loading, so I think all should be well. All right, so this means that if you search for something, again, we go with Ireland, because I just like Ireland. Okay. Let me see. Okay, it's not navigating me. Do I need a slash in front? Let me see. There's a place that this thing was used. Or do I add the local hosts?
Yeah, if I use window.href.
Oh, right. You're correct. It's not window.href. It's window.location.href. Yeah, silly me.
If you just located.href.
Yeah, I think, location.href also. So do you see this? We are now in search.html. Country is Ireland. Right, so this is what we want. So that means now in this search page, we should just be worried about getting this value from here. Okay.
Okay.
Where are we? Okay, in any case, let's look at this country.js. Something similar also happened here, and we're able to get what's it called? The code that we passed. So this is what we did. Location.search. It will give you what comes after that. What comes after the question mark. So you split it by equal to, and take the second item. So we're just going to do something like this again.
Search the keyword.
Search is not a keyword. Search is a property. Window.location is a different property.
Search.
So previously we just changed the href and the page changes. Here we're looking at search. Once you get it, split it, take the second thing. So now we're going to do this in onload. And we're going to say country is equal to this. Window.location.search split the first thing. That is country. So now that you set country, you can run fetch countries because now you have a country. So it's going to use that country here. So you fetch, do all these things, blah, 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 blah. And you have all countries. You set it in drop-down items parent. I've not done that. Oh, okay, it's done. Yeah, drop-down items parent, the data set, we've stored results. Yeah, all is well. Everything looks normal. There is just one problem. It's just one problem. These three things. These three things. This one can go because in search, I always want this thing to be showing. So there's no need to hide it normally. So we just need to set search them and results number. So search term dot inner text is equal to countries, right? Because country is all we got from over there. And results number is equal to results dot length. Okay, so all is ready. Yeah, search results for Ireland is 27.
So, country is what we got from splitting that array now.
Is what we got from?
From splitting that string, sorry. That string by equal to. Then we'll now grab the second element.
Yes.
Second element.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But with window.location.search, you get everything after the question mark, which is country is equal to Ireland. So if you split, it's equal to, you get country and Ireland. Pick Ireland. So I think we're done. If you filter Africa, see there's just one African country that's really no Madagascar. I mean, Madagascar does not have island in it. This is surprising. Yeah, if we try Asia.
So we know that we are filtering by what was first in these countries.
This is surprising. I would have expected Japan to be here. Even these other ones, Malaysia, are those no islands? They don't have island in their name. Weird. Anyhow, yeah, so you see these are all. The only problem that is on this page now is, weirdly enough, the search. The search on this page is not working as you would expect it to work. And this is because the thing we did to filter, we're not doing it here. You see, filter, we separated the code, abstracted the code to somewhere else so that the code is just one and is being reused multiple places. But search, now we have it in both files. We've corrected the one in the first file. We have to come over here and correct the one in this file. So that's one of the usefulness of abstraction. If you have your function or your set of things, separate, once you make a change, You've made the change everywhere. But if you are doing, let me do this here and do it there and do it everywhere, when you make your change, you have to be walking around to be making a change. So I'm just going to change it manually over here. But maybe in the next class or so, you guys will be the ones to abstract it yourselves. You will remove that search and put it in a separate file and make sure that it works very well everywhere. Shouldn't be too difficult. So this is just what we have.
So that's all that uses question mark and equal to. So what is it, query or something? What is it? What's the right term?
And you can call it query.
Query strings or what?
Maybe address query, if you feel like. Right. So I know the project is looking done and all, but there are still some things left. So far, we've been working very optimistically. We're making API calls without error handling. Like, we're really optimistic that everybody has good network, everything is all right in the world. We're very glass half full people right now. Okay, but you should not be like that normally. So time is up today, but tomorrow we'll go around and all our API calls, do some error handling, even the inputs too. Make sure that people don't do weird things, or that if weird things happen, our code can react to them.
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you for today's class. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Yeah. Weird things are happening. Do you see this? There's a space.
Yes.
But there should not be. There's still a space. So that means it's from the code. I think it's here. Set results for this. I think it's because of this space.
No, after the.
But going by that, shouldn't that number also have? Yeah, there's also a space. You see this? After the number 3, before the number 3, there's a space. So it means is this? It's because of the line break. So how do I do it now that there'll be no?
Is there a way to trim what you are putting inside there?
Okay, trim. Not really, because the problem is not from this; it's from here. It's like you write a space between two words.
Yeah, that's true.
Remove the space. Yeah, you can't do that.
That's true.
Or should I do this? Do it like this? How does that thing go? Like this.
Escape character out.
Yeah. How does that thing go again? Oh, yeah, it will not work here.
No,
so I'll just chin up and and write it straight.
You don't like a kid like that, but just
that's painful. I can accept the one that is inside this number place, but this one has to be like this. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. It's fine. I can accept this. Okay, so yeah, we're done for today.
Yeah.